Hello my good students. Welcome back to our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the Imperial Japanese Navy. I've been away the last week and it feels great to be back. Thank you very much for waiting that long week. I'm sure you've been at your wits' end wondering what to do with yourselves. I certainly have as well. So let's get straight into it. Straight off hot of the heels of the previous episode as ever, where we did sink a Tennessee, a Bogue and a Northampton, as well as defending ourselves from a lurking submarine. And that is absolutely brilliant. We've got a couple of supply ships as well. Unfortunately, we couldn't intercept them with our Musashi task force, but that's absolutely fine. So we're on the way back, patrolling once again, as ever. So let's go to the strategic map and have a look at what we can do. Alrighty then. So on the strategic map, we can see we are doing very well indeed. As said in the previous episode, I believe it was, or the one before, that we have secured Milne Bay, just taking the last few defending troops from there. We can launch a few planes from that, but as soon as we get rid of the defending troops, that plane stock will be reset once again, so it's fine, you know. We are on nearly a full stock of planes with the Taiyo. I think it would be absolutely fine leaving that around there. How were we looking with our losses on these two CVs from the other episode? Because we did lose a few Kates and Vals. Actually only losing 2 Vals and 4 Kates, which is actually not particularly bad. We can leave that. We don't need to restock our planes just yet. We are looking very low on zeros from these, but I'm absolutely fine with that because we do have quite a few available Toryus and Hayabusa's on Guadalcanal itself, and that's absolutely fine. It should be okay to defend ourselves there. We are bringing the I-9 round to see if we can find anything up here. As ever, retreating back with the Musashi to keep the entrance to Guadalcanal safe there. Coming back with our task force over here to resupply later on. Do only have a few thousand supplies and 600 troops on Rabaul, and we should be resupplied in 5 more days. And that's quite a while to wait, but how long is it going to take the supply ships to get there? It should be roughly 38 to 40 hours. Yeah, if we go 38.2 hours, that's absolutely fine. That's another day or so over. That's okay. Do have some ships here waiting. That's brilliant as well. Did we bring anything from Lai and Buna? Yeah, we did take troops and supplies from Buna to help with Milne Bay. And that is just brilliant to reconfirm that. Just getting to grips with this campaign again, because of course it's the first time I have sat down on it for just over a week. So yeah, let's get going, shall we? I shall come back to you with a serious action report very soon, hopefully. Okay, so soon as we reach the morning hours and our radars are getting more visibility, we have sighted what could be quite a scary task force over here. It says possible 10 ships, very fast, so perhaps a cruiser task force there. Let's have a look at that. Let's scout this out. Don't really have anything decent to scout that out with, so let's just take a Jake and go straight over there with that. We'll skip straight over. Let's see what's about, shall we, as our air forces take off. I don't need to skip over, actually. We're not going to find anything else. Let's see if we can follow that round, because they have moved, of course. See if we can follow their own scout there. There we go, right on top of it. Let's begin. What do we have? If it's an invasion force, Milne Bay will need some serious help very quickly, and it does appear to be a patrol, so that's not so bad. There's a lot of destroyers here, an Omaha and a Brooklyn, so this isn't the worst at all. Could really just ignore this, really, because we don't have a lot to deal with this. See what the Taiyo's got on it. We could of course go into engage us with the Taiyo's group, because we do have the Issei there as well, which will be able to do some very serious damage to these cruisers. So what sort of destroyers have we got here? I believe that is a Sims. This appears to be a Summers, excellent stuff. This one is a Marn. This one is a Nicholas. Or is it a Farragut? I believe it's Farragut, actually. I'm forgetting exactly which ships are in this game now. Yeah, it's a Farragut. Absolutely brilliant. So, not the biggest threat there by any means. Let's go back to the strategic map and see what we can do about that. How far away are they from here? So they're about 420 kilometers away. What do we have exactly in this group? We have a we've got a Takao, a foot attacker, a few destroyers, of course the Issei and the Taiyo. We're going to move those bit closer to Milne Bay just in case they do have some sort of supplies and such on there. And we have 12 Kates available. You know what? Why don't we have a look at that? We can throw some Kates away here. We can throw some Kates away here, can't we? Let's go for it. Absolutely go for it. I want action. I want blood. Let's go straight for them, shall we? I'll be back with you soon as that happens. If we do, of course, spot them again. We can keep this Jacob out to keep sight of them. Alrighty then, so we have made contact once again with that task force, and at pretty good weather actually for it. 72% visibility means we can see them, but of course their AA is going to open up just nicely for us. But we are on the good side of them, so the side I wanted to come in from was of course have to go straight over the light cruisers. I didn't want to have to go through the destroyers first, just going straight into the light cruisers. And I want to really, we're going to try and hit both of them. It might not sink both of them, but you never know, you never know. We're going to speed up, of course, to begin with. Go down to a striking altitude. Which group was this? This is the lead group, excellent stuff. And I'll once again go down with this group and hit the Brooklyn there. That is excellent stuff. What sort of speed do we leave these Kates on? 169. Let's try and match that, shall we? Roughly. That will do. And go with this group over to hit the Omaha. Omaha really shouldn't have a lot of AA power there. I'm not entirely sure if its guns are dual purpose. Shall we double check that so that we are not talking rubbish? Let's have a look, shall we? So yeah, the anti-aircraft is very tiny indeed, but the main battery guns are not dual purpose, so they only have 7 AA guns there, aside from the course of small arms machine guns, of course. But so that would be absolutely brilliant there. So only a few guns on either side to cover them. So let's go, of course, to 169 kilometers, or knots rather. Let's go straight over. We are, of course, going to have to launch some nav points. I have forgotten about that. So that is a very basic error. There is a very basic error. I do apologise. I need to shave off some rust from my brain, and of course, the Kates over here. So let's go straight in like that. We can adjust our course as and when we need to. Dive down, increase speed. Brilliant stuff. Easy game. Easy game. Oh, I've missed doing this. I've very, very much missed recording. I hope you've had a great week in my absence. We are going to sink some cruisers today. The Allies running out of ships to send at us, to be honest. Our Jake's leaving the area, that's absolutely fine. We're going to slow down our speed here because we want to make sure we can attack. Like so. Just going to pause very quickly just so we've got some reaction time. Like so. And tell this group to attack once again. This group can slow down as well and attack from there. This is a decent angle as well. We're going to slow right down there. Actually turn round a tad into that and then attack from there. Looks like we have lost a Kate as ever. Oh, we're dropping there. We are dropping indeed. We've lost 3 Kates already. That is brilliant stuff. Why wouldn't we be losing Kates? But these torpedoes aren't looking too bad. Aren't looking too bad. Looks like we lost a Kate before it could drop there. Only 2 coming from the rear attack there. But we are getting 2 hits, was that? Excellent stuff. 3 hits. Those 2 should be good. How is this line looking? Not great, actually. The Omaha's got some maneuverability behind it, hasn't it? It's an extra hit on the Brooklyn there. Extra couple. But we've got a magazine explosion. A very lucky magazine explosion on the Omaha there. Very, very happy. The camera is snapping like a crocodile. Come on. We can get a couple more, can't we, to seal its doom? Looks like it's just the one there. How's this one gonna go? No, just missed the nose there. But we did get a magazine explosion, so that should go down. Something's going down. that is the number 2. So that's the Brooklyn going down. That is brilliant. We did lose a lot of Kates, actually. We lost 10 Kates. But that means if we can get this down, that the destroyers are not a threat at all. And we can send the Taiyo back and leave this Issei group as a surface patrol, which would be brilliant stuff. We can perhaps pick off these destroyers if they decide to come over to Milne Bay. But we shall see. This might just... No, it's not going to hit the destroyers. Let's take an action report. Yeah, the Omaha is on critical and critical, so we can wait around for that, actually. Let's leave a Kate around just to keep that in sight, so that we don't lose contact with that. But we can see the list on that is massive. Look at that. Oh, the deck on the rear submerged completely. Only the main battery turret there staying afloat. Alright, so we are going to wait around very briefly and see if that does sink. Fingers crossed, eh? Could get trolled here. Alrighty then, so after waiting around for quite some time actually, we have of course sunk the Omaha. We only got 1 command point for that, which is rather a shame. I feel like we should have scored a few more there. We lost 8 rather than 10, don't know why I can't count there. Do apologise. We are going to return to base then, and we're actually going to, as I said, detach the Taiyo from this particular task force. It is on the top one here. If we split that, like so, and just go straight over to Rabaul to once again rearm, restock our air groups. That should be fine. We've got the air cover from Buna over here. We've got 3 Hyverses, 3 Torios, and we can bring stuff over from Lai if need be. That is okay there. That's a very nice little task force squandered there. Absolutely squashed. The destroyers, like I say, not a problem. We should see that they start retreating actually. Destroyers but by themselves, I've found, don't generally try to make any offensive pushes, especially if they know that enemies are about. So only really at the beginning of the game that you see them going backwards and forwards patrolling Guadalcanal, I'm sure, to give minor supplies to it. Otherwise, I've not seen, like I say, destroyers making a real push for themselves, but that's okay. We are going to carry on patrolling then. I shall see you in just a second. Alrighty then. We've just got an alert from a Jake that we have caught sight of a task force. Looks like a very special task force, and I'm very glad that I sent these Jakes over in that direction. You can see nothing in the immediate vicinity of Guadalcanal, and that might make you think that it's over in the vicinity of Milne Bay, but no, it's not. If you can guess where it is, it's being very, very stealthy indeed. It's all the way up here in the north of the map. Look at that. It appears to be a carrier task force as well. If we go to that, I don't know which Jake that is. It's very interesting. It's over here actually. Should we have a look at that? Because that suggests that's something else. We're going to be very wrong now, aren't we? Did I just see... Is that just a ripple in the water? That's something on my screen. I thought there might be a submarine about. Interesting. Well, there's clearly nothing out here. So it must be that carrier group there that it's on about. That's absolutely fine. Best to double check. What that means then is that we have to keep an eye on that. And we're going to have to send our submarine straight over there. We're going to return to base with this Glen, so it's not doing a radial search, so that we can get some more manual orders out on that and get some more specific orders out. What distance is it to Guadalcanal? 724 kilometers. There's apparently 8 ships. Suggested CVL, so that could well be a Bogue again. We're going to send out just a couple Torius because they do have the 1,000 kilometer range. Just to keep a little bit of sight on that, if we can. It is day 75, 2 more days so we get resupplied and such. You know what? Why don't we act early rather than late as ever? Because we've been caught by surprise. Let's send our Musashi task force out. We can, I think it's quite safe to leave our smaller task force here in patrol over Guadalcanal to sort that out. And we are going to send our CVs out. So this is going to be perhaps another carrier battle. So it's going to be bit difficult though. We are going to leave the range of Guadalcanal list, so we're going to go out, I think, over here with our carriers. What sort of distance? Yeah, that is just within striking range with our carriers. May have to move up a little bit further, but that's absolutely fine. We're going to scout out with our submarine as ever first, see if we can get rid of I bet there's a battleship there. Perhaps want to take that down first. Assuming this is a bogue, that will pretty much just be Wildcats and one group's worth of Avengers. So let's see how that moves. Tis coming more suzzily. Well, that's okay. Do have these Tories once again, so I'm going to change their course just a tad. Bring them over here. See how that moves. Don't want the time on the map to go too quickly. There we go. You know what? I am not actually going to scout us out just yet. What I'm going to do is ignore that so that we can keep sight of that with our Torios, the limited range they have just yet. So once they have to be recalled, we can launch the Glen out and keep sight of that. But we are going to have to go in anyway. I'm probably just going to retreat out of this. I don't really want to lose the Torios there, but it will give us a chance to scout this out. And yeah, it is a bogue once again, and a South Dakota. We have sunk a couple of these, haven't we? I believe. Maybe wrong. Sunk one South Dakota. So okay, that's okay. We've come out in the open for us. Got a New Orleans as well. Got another Northampton. And we do, of course, have a Brooklyn. They've run out of Clevelands. Got another Omaha as well. I forget how many Omahas there are in the series, actually. Let's see, there's 10. Okay, not a problem. We sunk the actual Omaha. That's brilliant stuff. What about Brooklyns? I don't think we sunk many of them. So yeah, that would have been our third previously. I get the feeling we've sunk some New Orleans. Sunk one. All right. Brilliant stuff. So, you know, there's me saying that there's basically no enemy ships left. They've got quite a few, apparently. That's okay. It's the, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bogues left. So that might be the order of today. Sink the bogue, maybe even the Alabama, and see how we go. Certainly want to sink the Alabama first, actually. And then we can come in for, say, an easy engagement with our Yamato group. But say easier engagement. It's never actually easy. The heat of battle can lead to many mistakes, of course. So we're going to carry on with that. I'm going to carry on scouting. Not going to bore you with the small process of getting into that. We know what's happening. We know where it's going. But where did they come from? But let's carry on and see what happens with that, eh? Okay, so it does appear that we've managed to come into contact with that group once again. And it is the next day from when we left off, but that's okay. We did lose sight of them, even though I said we didn't. We weren't going to. Did turn fire wheel off there properly. So it does appear we're very close to them. We're 6 kilometers away from the closest destroyer there. I'm going to change the target there to the Alabama there, or the South Dakota rather. It's a bad habit of mine to keep calling them Alabamas. How many torpedoes can we fire out from this one? 8 torpedoes. You know, that'll be fine to hit the South Dakota there with. So we're going to target the bogue as well then. Let's identify that, shall we? It's always good to identify your targets. Big fan of it. Where are we? We've gone past it. There we go. And of course, let's identify the South Dakota, which is just here. There we go. All right. So, like I said, we are very, very close to the destroyers there. So we're actually going to not move. If I brake here, we're going to actually move very slowly, and instead of just not moving at all, get a little closer to them. If we're going to assume that they have some sort of air group patrolling, but they shouldn't be able to see us there. Look, we do not have any sheen or refraction. Just can't see through the water, to put it simply. The waves are too great, the sea state too high at 5, visibility is 42%. Certainly not worth going to surface there. Certainly not worth going to the surface there. We are going to assume that they, like I said, have some sort of air group inbound there. We don't know why we're turning in there. I want to turn out a little bit. Actually want to move a little quicker with this particular submarine, and I think actually just slow right down with this. Let this one get some headway over on this one, overtake us a tad, so that we don't risk hitting our own submarines like we did in the previous episode. For those that might not have watched that, we didn't actually hit our own submarines with our torpedoes, but we were very, very close. I had to do an emergency dive down and pop back up because our torpedoes did pass over our submarine there. So we are, I think, you know what, that's going to be fine. There's a heading there. We could just wait for them to pass over into us. So I'm going to speed up. And what's our solution looking like? We're still targeting number 8 there. That is not good. Want it on the bogue. That's a wasted time there on the solution. We've got a 45% solution on the South Dakota though. So getting closer is certainly needed. The low visibility not helping us here, but if they do have air groups about, it is a double-edged sword there. It's helping us in that sense, of course. So what we're going to do is just wait, like I said, for this submarine to reach out a bit further. Can we check the distance? There we go, there's the air groups about. We're 4.7 kilometers away from the closest destroyer there. Got a very nice solution on the South Dakota as well, actually. Very, very nice solution. We're going to stop then with this particular submarine. We've got a 30-ish% solution on the bogue. Like I said, South Dakota is the main priority here. So I'm actually going to launch a large source of spread. Let's go for a 3-degree spread with the I-15. And all 6 torpedoes, because of the position of the bogue as well and their source of formation. I'm not entirely sure we'll hit even the South Dakota here. Might actually end up hitting the Northampton here instead. And if we miss any torpedoes, they'll go through and hopefully get collateral on any other ship there. I think that'll certainly be the case when we hit or go for the bogue. If we go for the South Dakota, I'm hoping it will go through this gap here. Just because we're that much closer and have the better solution there. But I'm going to wait around just a tad longer and see you when we decide to fire. Okay, so we haven't waited for much longer, but I think if we do wait any longer, we're going to let the opportunity slip through our fingers here. Even though the solution to the bogue is less than desirable, we are going to fire out 6 torpedoes. We do have 17 in total, a full stock, that's absolutely fine. Going to fire a 3-degree spread, and that is, like I said, to perhaps hit a dual-purpose torpedoes, hit either the Northampton or the bogue there, perhaps anything in between. We're going to let those travel a tad, and then we're going to fire off from the I-16, which will be firing all 8 possible torpedoes there, and that's going to be firing them as a 2-degree spread at the South Dakota. We are fairly close to them, 60%-ish solution. Very, very nice indeed. They're going to fire off now, otherwise the other torpedoes are going to give the enemy too much warning. And that, on the map at least, looks like they're fairly well in sync, actually. Good distance with each other. Yeah, we can see these streams just there. So they are running roughly parallel at the moment. Well, I say at the moment, if it's parallel at all, they will never meet. Thus is the meaning of parallel. But I think that's pretty decent. That's very nice. So, it's a bit of a difficulty here. We are going to dive down to 40, I think. Go at 2 knot speed and actually turn to our port side and run out there, I think. Go to 40 as well. Go to silent on both of them. Both submarines. Halt any reloading. Reduce the noise we're making. We will be making some cavitation as we dive. But we are still... How close are we to these destroyers? 2.6. That's just outside of range. If we get to 2.5, that'll be in range of active sonar. It is active sonar rather than passive though. Then we will need to turn that on. It looks like our torpedoes are converging now. So it's looking like we're going all for one there. All for one particular target. They are going to cross over. That's not a problem. Shall we speed up and see how that goes? Because they're not going to hit the destroyer there. Looking like it might hit the Northampton, but it's looking pretty decent onto the South Dakota there. And in fact, if we get rid of the UI there, we can see the streams just here. It might hit 1 or 2 on the Northampton. Well, it's definitely a 1 there. That's a lucky magazine explosion. Sometimes 1 torpedo is all you need. But it looks like we're not going to get too good at hits on the South Dakota here. It is taking evasive manoeuvres after seeing the explosion on the Northampton, as is the rest of the formation there. I'm guessing 1, 2, maybe a 3rd if we're lucky. Yeah, that's a lucky 3rd, but it's not enough to sink the South Dakota rather. Gonna get a couple on the bogue though. It is turning into these torpedoes here. That's got to be the Northampton going down. I might just get the 1 actually. Yeah, just the 1 on the bogue. That's okay. That's not going to be anything else hit there. So, I'm going to take an action report. Bring up the UI. South Dakota is heavy and heavy. You know what? 1 more torpedo might have sunk that. And the 2 hits on the bogue would have sunk that, I think, as well. So we are going to waste a round because the fires are fairly hefty there. Number 3 was sinking, so that is the Northampton, as you would have seen in the action report. Looks like they're not necessarily hunting us either. They go in the opposite direction, so they don't know exactly where we are. They haven't detected us, so we can afford to sit and wait here, actually. And that is the risk you take with firing all of your torpedoes at once. If we had fired perhaps 1 or 2 less, we could have stuck around, knowing now that they hadn't detected us. That's a big old explosion there, that's useful. But yeah, since they haven't detected us, we could have sat around and fired 1 or 2 more torpedoes at the South Dakota to seal its doom there. Are we going to get a collision here? Are we going to get a collision? Probably not. It's turning just enough, maybe. Collision might help at that speed, actually. No, it's just not enough there. I think it's turned out just in time. Go on, you know you want to. You know you want to collide. That's unfortunate. So yeah, we are going to wait around once again because the fires on the bogue have actually got even worse since we hit them. So let's sit and watch. And unfortunately, neither the battleship nor the carrier sank there, but of course we did get the Northampton. So unfortunately, guys, this is going to be a super quick episode for you. However, that's because my next move is to force a surface engagement, and that is simply going to be quite a large undertaking. That is going to take up pretty much a whole episode, I'm afraid. This is going to be a long, big old battle. Quite a comfortable one, I feel. We do, of course, have the 2 Yamatos there. They have a fairly well crippled battleship there with all its guns operational, but some heavy damage, of course. And we have, of course, sunk that Northampton, as I have previously said. So we're leaving only the Brooklyn and the New Orleans in cruiser support there. And I think we can certainly deal with those fairly easily with our assets here. So I do apologise for the long break in a very quick episode for you there. Not a lot happening at all. But as I say, that is so that we can force a surface engagement and do that in a comfortably long episode tomorrow for you. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. I've been the Edified Gamer, and I hope your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.